Hi everyone, welcome back to Cooking by Zoe. In this video, I'll be sharing with you on how I decorated this number 72 cake. This cake I made for a very special woman, my mom. My mom's turning 72 this year and I wanted to make her this very special, beautiful cake. Here are some other creations that I've made in the last few weeks or months for my customers. If you'd like to follow me on Facebook or check some of my creation, you can check out my page, Cooking by Zoe on Facebook. For these cake, I am using my sponge cupcake recipe to make the cake. It's a very spongy, moist, fluffy cake, and it is a little harder to cut versus using regular vanilla or chocolate cake. I am using this Wilton baking pan to make my number cake. They're really nice to use, but they're not my favorite because they don't make very pretty numbers. So I still end up trimming and cutting the numbers to my liking. And again, I am using a sponge cupcake recipe to make these cake, and sponge cake are really hard to trim and cut, so they leave a lot of little crumbs when you do cut. Let's get started on decorating this cake. So I've already sliced my cakes in halves, and then to the bottom layer I'm going to add in whipped cream all around the entire cake. I'm using a Teco 858 piping tip. And then to the number 2, I'm going to do a little different than the number 7. I'm going to add in a little strawberry glaze to the center. You can also add in fruits, but I'm not doing that today. So I'm using the tip of this spoon here, and I'm just going to even out and spread this whipped cream. That way it'll be nicer to add in the glaze, and also if you're going to be adding fruits as well, this will be nice to just even out that cream. So after I'm even out the cream, I'm going to add in this strawberry glaze, and I'll be making a tutorial on how to make this in the near future, so just keep an eye out on for that. And again, if you want to add fruits, then you can right on top, or if you don't want to use a glaze, you can just add in fruits. After adding the glaze in or the fruits, you'll want to just add a little bit of whipped cream to the top of the fruits or the glaze. And then now I'm just going to go ahead and place the top layer of the cake right on top. And then we're going to repeat the process of adding in our whipped cream to the top of the cake. And we just want to cover the entire cake just like this. And then we'll do the same to the number 2. And after we cover our entire top of the cake with whipped cream, then we can start decorating. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with this Wilton 1M, and I've colored my whipped cream pink, and I'm making these little rosetta around the number cake. So I'm making these larger rosetta, and then after that, I'm going to come back and add some smaller rosetta. If you want to learn how to make the whipped cream, I'll link the tutorial down below along with the batter for the cake. The recipe is my vanilla sponge cupcake recipe, and that has the recipe on how to make the cake batter and also on how to make the whipped cream from scratch. So after we add in all of our rosetta, we're going to start decorating with the rest of our toppings. I have this floral tape because I'm using these pink rose, and they have, liquid if you cut the stem, obviously. So you want to cover that with this floral tape so the juice of the rose doesn't get on your cake. If you don't have these floral tape, you can just use saran wrap and do similar to this. And then after that, just make sure that it's intact, and then place the rose onto the cake wherever you want to place that. And I'm just gonna, add 3 roses to the number 7, and then maybe about 4 or 5 to the number 2. And I'm not really sticking to any kind of pattern to decorate my cake. I'm just gonna kind of see where I want to put it and place it there. So the next step I'm going to do is add in my macarons. I have some white macarons that I've kind of added some glittery pink shine too. They're edible. And then I have some pink macarons. And if you want recipe on how to make those, I'll link that down below as well. I do have a new tutorial coming up for my strawberry macarons, so do keep an eye out for that. Next, we're going to add in our strawberries, and I'm just trying to make a little pattern here with the strawberries around the cake. You kind of want to fill in some of those empty spots. And really, when you're making these number cakes, you want some of that cream on the outside to show, and then you want to decorate inside of the number cake. But I tend to over decorate and kind of cover a lot of that cream. That's just how I like to decorate my number cake. After the strawberries have been added, I'm going to add in raspberries. And with the raspberries, I'm going to try to make a little pattern, but also again trying to close out some of those empty space between my decorations. After the raspberry has been added, I'm going to add in my next decorations, which is meringue cookies that I've made, and I'll have a tutorial coming up soon on how to make these, so stay tuned for that. My cake is pretty full with decorations at this point, but it's pretty pink. I want to add a little bit of green to it, so I'm gonna just find some spots between the decoration and add in some quarters of these slices of kiwis. After the kiwi's been added, I'm going to add these little sprinkles onto these rosetta. I'm going to do that off the camera so you won't see me doing that. And then I'm going to add these baby breath. And this is a reminder, these are considered toxic, so use these as your own risk. I'm going to add a little bit of saran wrap before sticking them into the cake. And I didn't show adding them on in the video, but just pretty much place them next to your rose and whatever other spot that you want to add the baby breath to. They just add a little cute finishing touch to your cake. Okay, well, there is my beautiful number 72 cake for my mom. Thank you so much for watching.